Following the success of the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X, Triumph has launched yet another model, this time a cafe racer. With its recognizable silhouette and design elements that pay tribute to the now discontinued Thruxton 1200, does this model go beyond surface level charm? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
This is the most visually distinctive of Triumph's new 400s. In comparison with other Triumph 400 models, Thruxton 400 gets a slimmer redesigned tank and tail, a small front fairing and a raked windscreen, bar end mirrors and a removable rear cowl. All of these come together to contribute to a design that's quite neo-retro. The Thruxton 400 is available in 4 colors, and regardless of what you pick, this motorcycle is sure to turn heads. And the quality? Very much up to the standard we've come to expect from the Bajaj built Triumphs. Panel gaps are tight, paint finish is decent, and the switchgear feels sturdy and tactile. While the rest of the motorcycle felt quite well put together, some test units did have vibrations from the fairing past 6000 RPM.
Now this gets the same speedometer as the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X, but unlike those models, I wish this one over here got an analog tachometer, which would be more in line with this cafe racer aesthetic.
Nevertheless, the display is clear, legible in sunlight, and packs all the essentials. What surprises me is the lack of adjustable levers, especially since they're already available on the Speed 400 and would have been a worthy addition at this price. Overall, the motorcycle is a lot slimmer than its siblings and even has a slimmer rear subframe, which has allowed Triumph to redesign the tail. The Thruxton 400's rear design will divide opinions, and it doesn't have a unique look or light signature like its siblings.
One more thing worth noting is that this cowl over here is removable. There's a seat underneath it, so you can take this off, and yeah, as you can see, there's 2 bolts over here that you can unscrew and take off the cowl. So you will need to carry a screwdriver if you intend to take this off on and off quite often, but that is something worth noting. It also gets a single piece seat, but more on that later. Now in terms of riding position, this is probably one of the most aggressive 400s you can get. In fact, it is the most aggressive 400 you can get. The clip-ons are lower, the foot pegs are set further back, and the overall riding triangle leans you into a more purposeful stance. But on the flip side, this is also one of the lowest seat heights within the Triumph 400 family. At 795 mm, this is quite friendly for shorter riders. And given how slim the entire profile of the motorcycle is, it's actually quite easy to flat foot even for shorter riders. Now coming back to the seat. The seat is nice and firm, it's a one-piece unit. However, given the style of this motorcycle and given the stiffness of the seat, it's not something I'd recommend for longer rides. Short to medium rides should be fine, but anything longer is going to force you to stop and stretch your feet every now and then.
Powering the Thruxton 400 is the same 398cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder as the Speed 400. But it's a little more spicy here, with 2 horsepower more, which now peaks at 42 horsepower at 9000 RPM, while torque remains the same at 37.5 Nm, but comes in at 1000 RPM later. These tweaks make it feel a bit livelier at the top end and less like it's gasping for air near the red line. What complements this change is a slightly taller finer rod, courtesy of the smaller rear sprocket with 2 less teeth than the Speed 400. There's even the occasional pop and bang from the exhaust on deceleration, which adds a dash of drama. It all makes this bike feel noticeably more engaging and, dare I say, more characterful than the Speed or Scrambler. The motorcycle has plenty of grunt and will happily pop a wheelie if you provoke it. During a ride, we didn't encounter any excessive heat in traffic, and the motor is quite well behaved at low speeds. Triumph also claims a much higher 161 km/h top speed for a Thruxton, which is considerably higher than the Speed 400's 148 km/h top speed. The company also claims a quicker 0 to 100 time of 6.7 seconds, which is a whole second quicker than what it claims for the Speed 400. While the motor definitely feels like a step up over the Speed 400, a quick shifter, even as an accessory, would have really completed the package here. Despite the aggressive ergonomics and racer boy looks, the Thruxton is actually running a softer suspension setup than expected. With 10 mm more travel than the Speed 400 at both ends, it does a commendable job of ironing out potholes and bumps, especially on city roads and bad tarmac. Ride comfort is surprisingly decent, and I faced no issues over poor roads despite the lower 158mm ground clearance. In terms of handling, the softer setup means it lacks the sharp handling that Cafe Racer image might suggest. Triumph has given it a steeper rake, which has also shortened the wheelbase to improve agility. However, this has come at the cost of stability, which can be felt around high-speed uneven corners. Cornering feel is good at moderate speeds, with the front end offering decent feedback and stability. But up the pace, and especially on bumpy back roads, you'll begin to feel the chassis reaching its composure limits. Brakes, meanwhile, are up to the task. Lever feel is reassuring, progression is linear, and the dual-channel ABS doesn't interfere prematurely. This motorcycle is available with either Apollo Alpha H1 or MRF steel brace tires. This largely depends on the supply, and which set you get depends solely on your luck. However, Triumph claims both these tires have been benchmarked with similar performance and handling. Our test bike was fitted with Apollo H1 tires, which performed acceptably well, though most serious riders may want to consider stickier rubber for more confidence.
At Rs 2.74 lakh, this undercuts Royal Enfield's Continental GT650 by about 50,000 rupees, which is its closest Cafe Racer-like rival. And while it can't match Royal Enfield's Cafe Racer in terms of sheer displacement and twin-cylinder thrum, what you are getting is a lower price tag and less weight. Now, this isn't the sportiest handler in the segment, nor is it the best tourer, but what it is an evocative motorcycle. It's an evocative motorcycle that makes you want to turn around and look back at it with a dash of Cafe Racer cool. What you are paying for here is styling and attention to detail, and in that regard, Triumph has really nailed the brief. This is a gorgeous looking motorcycle, especially in this bright yellow paint.